So last night I was sort of talking with my girlfriend, and she brought up this Tommy and Molly May breaking up situation and whatever, all that. Not really my scene, but it did spark some thoughts, and we were talking about some stuff. And today I was thinking about it as well. And one of the things I think with the relationships is they don't just instantly crumble. They might appear like they instantly crumble, but they don't. They happen over a longer period of time. Things that you don't notice. Little arguments here, little arguments there that aren't resolved or you hold a grudge with. And I do think one of the most important factors in a relationship is communication. If you can't communicate properly or efficiently and effectively and get to an understanding of each other at the end of the communication, then I think it's a bit doomed. Not to say 100% it's doomed, but I think the majority of the time it is pretty fatal, because you're gonna have arguments, you're gonna have disagreements. There's not a chance there are going to be two human beings on this earth that are of the opposite gender, at least for me, who's going to have exactly the same thing that you love. Everything is exactly the same personality type, the same upbringing. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So you're going to bicker. You're going to have different opinions. And you're probably going to get offended by different things. Or at least that's what happens to me. And that's only natural. So you're not going to stop any of that. So you've got to learn to communicate and to express your feelings. And remember that you do actually love each other. You do actually want the best for each other. So when you keep that in mind and you communicate, you can pretty much get past any problem. By explaining how you feel and how someone else makes you feel and how you make them feel. And you get the reason communication is so important is you get an understanding of the other person and they get an understanding of you. There's no blurred lines, there's no keeping anything in, there's no secrets. Everything's out in the open if you communicate effectively. And if everything's out in the open, you can both understand that you love each other and you want the best for each other. If that's honestly how it is, which it should be, if you're going to be staying together and you're falling in love. And with this situation that's going on, I know one of the things I've seen is people are like, oh, but it was so perfect. I think my girlfriend said that, but it was so perfect. What, 1 week they're posting these pictures and whatever, and you're celebrating a year of being engaged and stuff like that. And then the next couple of weeks, they split up. Someone, the speculation that someone's cheated and stuff like that. And I think, yeah, the appearance to you is that it's all smooth sailing. Now, it's always a red flag to me when any public perception of someone is perfection. Any public figure, anyone who's popular, who's got a following, all they're showing is perfection, and you never hear them talking about imperfection. It's a lie. There's something they're not showing you, and that's the same with anyone you see. If you only see the perfect parts of a relationship, you never see a negative part. You never see an inkling of a little bicker or a little disagreement here and there or whatever. Chances are, there's two things. Chances are you're not been around them long enough. You're not seeing the full story. Or number two, they're hiding something. They're pretending. And the majority of the time is you don't spend enough time with these people to understand the situation, to understand the life that they're living and the problems that they have. And this for me I guess it might be one of the reasons I started. I'm pretty sure it's one of the reasons I started filming. It's to show both sides, the ups and the downs. Because life isn't just perfect. Life isn't just all happy, good, good, good. Relationships aren't all just good, good, good. You know, I only pissed my girlfriend off the other weekend. You know, because I was being pathetic. And I've done it many times, and she's done it many times. And, you know, you resolve it and you communicate and you understand that you love each other and that you want the best. And it's not personal. You're not trying to harm someone and attack someone. But you still have these situations where you offend other people, you bicker. And the issue with public figures and relationships is when media pick up a storm, they go with it. They turn it into like a hurricane. They fully blow it up. I mean, it's part and parcel. It's kind of both. The problem is caused by, I'm almost speaking English. The problem is almost caused by both the media and by the public people who are in the limelight, the public figures, because they're showing a perfect life. But then when anything goes wrong, media picks it up and blows it up, and it's stress, and it wasn't truly what it was like. But if you're authentically showing everything, the full situation, then everyone understands, the public understand that it's stupid for these media companies to blow it up, and you stop trusting them, and then they change. You know, there's a balance between media companies actually publishing for the public in terms of informing them, and then there's a second part where they're publishing for an entertainment value and want to get you engaged. And the only way to figure that out is see what works and what's worked. And until that changes, stuff, you know, the negative stuff is always going to get blown up. But you also have a responsibility as a public figure to be able to post things that go wrong. But the issue isn't just for public figures, it's for everyone who can openly show the negative sides of them. Never mind the relationship, I mean of them, of their own personalities. People don't know what's wrong with each other. People don't know the negatives, or if they do know, they don't show it with everyone. And, you know, if we probably got more used to showing what our insecurities are and what actually affect us, and most of the time it's because we're not okay ourselves, or we don't understand ourselves what actually affects us. You know, people don't deep dive into themselves and find an understanding of why I'm acting like this. Why is it my fault? Although most of the time people just blame everyone else or try and run away and avoid it. It'll always catch up with you, so it's not an effective solution. That's how I think. So, you know, these people that want to keep things private, I also do understand privacy, because you want a bit of intimacy. You don't want everything public. You don't want to be conscious of everyone judging you. If you don't have the ability to block that out and not listen to people that aren't your loved ones and your close friends and stuff like that, if you don't have that ability, I fully understand how it would be hard to fully expose yourself and not have any privacy. But, you know, there is a balance. But one thing I'm toying with, and the idea I'm playing with, is if you don't hide anything, there's no backlash that you can get, because everything's out on the table. You don't feel like you have to lie. You don't feel like you have to manipulate things and worry about something coming up, because you can be comfortable in you, and you can be comfortable in your flaws, and you can be comfortable in everything you do wrong, and understand that doing things wrong isn't necessarily bad. it's a lesson to learn. And I feel for both these parties, not even these two, but in any situation, a relationship where people cheat, I feel sorry for them, for both parties, because it's one person's not got an understanding of who they are, and they more than likely don't know how to deal with the stress or the negative thing that's happening to them, or they don't understand what they want in life maybe, or they've grown, they can't communicate. They feel a bit insecure to communicate, and they don't want to take that step towards something that is hard, which all of us have. I absolutely have. We all have. And it's that thing that we're all going to have something that we struggle to take that big step for, to step out of our comfort zone, especially when it's to do with ourselves. And we have to admit, we're not dealing with life properly, that we're not almost good enough to deal with life. I think for me, once you accept that life's going to beat you down and life's more powerful than you. And that's okay. And all you need to do to sort of aid a task in getting through life is understand it's much easier to get through life with other people by your side. You don't have to do it alone. And for me, once you have that realization that that's a possibility, that you can share the burden, doesn't necessarily mean someone has to step in and help you. It completely depends on how you deal with things. But like for me, for example, I don't need anyone to step in and do something for me. I just know I need to get things off my chest. And when I get things off my chest, it becomes lighter. It becomes less of a load because I can share it with someone and get someone else's opinion. And most of the time, if I'm honest, it doesn't actually matter what another person's opinion is. It's just the fact that I've not got it all bottled up and balled up inside of me. And it gets heavier and heavier the longer it stays inside me. And you almost resist this notion that everything is all right. And I don't need anyone else. And I'm strong enough myself and stuff like that. That's sort of what in the past, well, not even past, even present now, goes on in my head. And it's almost, with a lot of things, it is instinctual now that I do just chat shit to people, offload a little bit. And I almost offload now because I've done it with deeper, serious things that took a step to do it, that took a big step to do it and made me feel all sorts of insecure. The fact that I've done that, it makes every other little thing a lot easier and manageable. And it's instinctively like, I see it as a benefit. And it's great when you just have someone there just to listen to you. Even just knowing someone's there to listen to you, it changes the game. And it's now a factor that's part of my infrastructure in life. Is you have to have someone there that you can say stuff to, and you either not worry about the judgment that they're going to give, and you just focus on the fact that you've got it off your chest. Like for me, I could say anything, really. And I'm with some things I take criticism personally, but I'll get over it. Once I see that it's that, I just have to deal with, okay, why have I reacted this way to criticism? And then it's fine. Or someone else's judgment, I'm like, yeah, that's fair enough, that's your opinion. And if I'm honest, I'm just talking to you, I'm just getting it off my chest. And I kind of want another person's opinion to even contradict mine. And so if someone else contradicts my opinion, what I can do in my head is I can strengthen my own opinion as if I'm arguing with them and being like, you know what I've got in my head is completely solid, is completely right. I just needed to to hear someone else talk about it, and it solidifies mine. Sometimes when you're in between two minds, you just need another opinion chucked in there, whether it's disagree or agree. For me, it almost doesn't matter sometimes. Now, it does depend on the situation, obviously, but my point is, you've got to communicate. You've got to communicate and get things off your chest. And when you start holding things in, resentment and stuff like that, especially in a relationship, it's trouble. Because you don't trust your partner fully. You don't trust your partner to almost love you for who you are and for your problems. And when you find someone that does, and is willing to work through them together or be there for you, it's a game changer. And when you can learn to communicate to that other person and help them and figure out what they need and what you need and how they can help you best, and with your little bickers you solve it and you apologise, you drop your ego and you say, you know, we don't need to fight each other, we can work together. And that, for me, I think is a key mindset I try and keep on my mind. Don't get me wrong, I don't do it perfectly at all every time. But one thing I know I can do is I can drop my ego. And one, I can say when I'm wrong. I mean, it is a muscle that I'm working on. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect at that either. But I can get myself to a point where I can admit and apologise. And, you know, even apologise for making someone feel a certain way. Even if our opinions differ. That's also, for me, that's also acceptable. You can both have different opinions. People can, with anyone, you can have different opinion with someone else. And if you even insult someone or hurt someone's feelings, but have the different opinion, for me, it's sort of okay as long as you're caring for the other person and you're not purposefully insulting and damaging someone and hurting someone. And if you do ever do it, you've got to realise you've got to drop that ego and apologise, because you don't mean it, and that's almost you showing that you do care and you do love someone. But yeah, communication is so important. It is kind of ridiculously crazy. And it's a tough lesson to learn. And it's a tough thing to do. And, you know, as you can see by these stories and these things you see, you know, it's hard and it doesn't always turn out successful. But I don't think you can have any relationship that's unsuccessful if you communicate. I'm not sure about that one, but it's a very key factor. But yeah, anyway, at the gym now, so peace.